We've had a host of YouTube comments asking us to do more amplifier reviews. So, after many requests, we're pleased to present to you the battle of the best tube headphone amplifiers. Audiophile headphones deserve a quality headphone amplifier, but how do you choose the best amp when there are so many options? Tube amplifiers have been around since the early 1900s and are well loved for their warm sound and nostalgic feel. We've selected 3 of our best-selling tube amplifiers to compare to each other: the Auris Audio Nirvana 4, Moon Audio's very own Dragon Inspire IHA1, and the Cayenne HA6A.
Hey, Drew here from Moon Audio. The Auris Nirvana 4, the Inspire IHA1, and the Cayenne HA6A are 3 tube amplifiers with 3 entirely different personalities. No doubt these are 3 of my favorite tube headphone amplifiers at Moon Audio. The Dragon Inspire is the purest approach and has plenty of grace, but that can be dramatically changed sonically with the roll of a tube. You can get from a really raw, gritty sound to a warm and musical sound. So that's really the purpose behind this amplifier. The Auris Nirvana 4 is for the feeling like you're at a Led Zeppelin show back in the 70s, with just raw, gritty power. And the Cayenne HA6A is a real gem and fabulous bang for the buck, with the coolest option ever of a 4.4mm connection, optimized for IEMs. Who would have thought? No winners and losers here. It's a tie ball game. Pick your poison. Now that I've given you my take, let's get right into the design of these 3 tube amps.
Each tube amplifier is unique in its own way, but they all possess that distinctive warm glow that makes them just undeniably cool. Priced at $24.99, the Cayenne HA6A is a modern-looking tube amplifier with a hand-painted aluminum alloy finish, glossy and matte black accents, and a removable tube cage for protection. The VU meters on the front panel illuminate the same warm yellow glow as the tubes, giving the HA6A a nice pop of color. At almost a whopping 43 pounds, it's the heaviest tube amplifier in this lineup, but its sharp form factor complements most audio setups. The front panel features various outputs, a power on-off button, a headphone output selector, VU meters, a source switch, and a volume knob. The outputs include a 1/4-inch output, a 4.4mm balanced output, and 4-pin XLR balanced output. There's also an impedance switch with 3 gain modes and an operation mode switch, which I'll go into more detail about later when we dive into the features and technology. On the back is a balanced stereo XLR input, a single-ended stereo RCA input, a tube selector switch for swapping power tubes, an external fuse for high voltage, and the AC power input. At $57.99, the Auris Nirvana 4 is relatively the same size as the Cayenne HA6A, but it's almost 50% lighter at roughly 25 pounds. For it being a larger amplifier, it has a distinctive form factor with a prominent front panel glass protection plate and rounded edges. 2 transformers sit atop the amp with an impedance knob, and an external power supply unit also comes with the Nirvana 4 that attaches via a high-quality 1-meter cord. Having the power supply in its own external chassis is what makes the Nirvana 4 so much lighter than the Cayenne HA6A, and it also reduces interference from the power supply circuit. The entire unit has a matte black finish with silver accents. On the front panel is a power switch, input selection knob, balanced 4-pin XLR output, VU meters, 1/4-inch stereo headphone output, gain switch, and volume knob. On the back panel, you'll find 2 pairs of RCA inputs with a pair of 3-pin XLR power inputs, a pre-out RCA output, and PSU port for the external power supply unit. The Dragon Inspire IHA1 is extra special to us because it's a Moon Audio exclusive. Designed by Carry Audio's founder, Dennis Had, and perfected by our owner and founder, Drew Baird PE, the Dragon Inspire is vacuum tube amplification in its purest form. Priced at $21.95, it's the smallest of all 3 tube amplifiers, and it's the lightest at 15 pounds. With a metallic copper finish and black accents, the Dragon Inspire is both retro and modern looking. The front panel features a 100K dual-stepped attenuator volume control, input selector switch, 1/4-inch headphone output, 4-pin XLR headphone output, power switch, and power indicator. On the back panel is a power port, fuse, output switch, pre-amplified left and right outputs, and 2 pairs of aux ports. So, how do these 3-tube amplifiers stack up against one another in the sound department? While all 3 possess that signature warmth, they've all got a distinctive sound. The Dragon Inspire IHA-1 is warm and lush sounding with great musicality when using the NOS RCA tubes. More on this later. The Nirvana 4 has some nice warmth to it with incredible dynamics and lots of energy. And the Cayenne HA6A sits right in the middle with just enough warmth to make it a great choice for someone who wants a neutral yet musical sound. I decided to A/B test each tube amplifier with the Meze Audio Empyrean 2 headphones paired with a Black Dragon premium headphone cable and the Orender A200 music streamer as my source. From the moment I plugged the Empyrean 2 headphones into the Nirvana 4, everything just clicked. I listened to From Eden by Hozier and The Summoning by Sleep Token on the amps to identify the nuances of each unit. From Eden is an alternative indie song with soulful, gospel-like vocals that lend to a harmonious and expressive sound. The Nirvana 4 was incredibly musical and dynamic, so much so that I was taken aback by the sound. I've listened to the Meze Empyrean 2 headphones with many pieces of audio gear, and the Nirvana 4 made them sing like nothing I've ever heard before. I was immersed in a sound that was rich and luscious with great layering and a really wide soundstage. The Summoning by Sleep Token is on the opposite end of the genre spectrum as a heavy metal song with a rock and roll feel. You're immediately thrown right into the madness with a brigade of electric guitars and drums. This song takes you on a journey from metal riffs to choruses with passionate R&B style vocals. Of all 3 amplifiers, the Nirvana 4 handled the energy of this song the best. Sound-wise, the Nirvana 4 is going to appeal to the warm and musical listener who enjoys a dynamic sound full of energy with a tight, punchy bass. The Dragon Inspire IHA-1 is wonderfully warm and smooth. Every song I listened to had great dynamics and the right amount of energy that never overshadowed the details. The soundstage was intimate, but not crowded. I felt immersed in the music like I was a part of the band and not someone sitting in the crowd. The listening experience I got from the Dragon Inspire was very similar to the Nirvana 4. Musical, warm, and lush. I kept going back to artists like Adele, Hozier, and Rainbow Kitten Surprise who deliver rich, emotive vocals. I'm a warm and musical listener through and through, and the Dragon Inspire sound was right up my alley. There's not a single song that Adele produces that doesn't have her heart smeared across the track. Her vocals are full of so much emotion and passion that there wasn't a single moment listening to the Dragon Inspire that I truly didn't enjoy. The Cayenne HA6A is perfect for someone who wants more natural reproduction of their music. It's got a neutral warm sound signature and 2 operation modes that you can switch between to change the tonality of the amp's sound. Triode mode is ideal for vocals and strings with a smooth, lush, harmonious sound. Ultralinear mode has improved power and extension, delivering you a clean, energetic, authoritative, and transparent sound. It's ideal for music that requires a lot of punch, dynamics, and control. I find myself enjoying the ultralinear mode for high energy genres like hip-hop, EDM, and metal. It had more immediacy and it just sounded sharper. Triode mode was great for soft rock, jazz, and soul. For example, Anthony Kiedis' vocals in Red Hot Chili Peppers' Scar Tissue felt very mellow and lush sounding in triode mode. The song has a natural twang to it, and at the end of each verse, Kiedis really likes to drag out that last syllable. Think of triode mode as a taffy pulley machine, lengthening vocals and sounds just ever so slightly to create this smooth sound that just slowly fades. All of these tube amplifiers complement a range of genres like pop, country, alternative indie, and jazz, but the Nirvana 4 is going to handle high energy genres like EDM and metal the best. The Dragon Inspire is going to appeal to the warm and musical listener who enjoys an immersive listening experience and gravitates toward lush sounds, but with tube rolling, you can dramatically change the sound of this little amp. More on this shortly. The Cayenne HA6A is the sweet spot in a way. It's got the warmth of a tube amplifier, but just enough neutrality that you can also enjoy some highly detailed tracks. So if you find yourself bouncing between dynamic, punchy tracks and smooth, lush sounds, then the Cayenne HA6A will give you the best of both worlds. Now let's get into the nitty and gritty of these tube amplifiers, the technology and features. One of, if not the best features of tube amps is tube rolling, which is the ability to swap out the tubes on the top of each unit. Each tube has its own coloration that impacts the overall sound, so by changing the tubes, you can alter the tonality and fine-tune your listening experience based on your personal preferences. Pretty neat, right? The options are virtually endless, and it not only extends the lifetime of your amplifier, but it also allows the unit to grow with you as your tastes change. For instance, the Dragon Inspire IHA1 features a pair of 6SN7 stock tubes and a 5Y3 rectifier tube that lends a lush, warm, and liquid sound, but if that's not really complementing your favorite genre, then no biggie, just swap them out. We recommend swapping out the rectifier tubes with a direct heater type tube like the 5Y3, 5U4, 274B, or NOS. The output tubes can be swapped out with the 6SN7 variant tube as well. The Cayenne HA6A comes with one set of Electro-Harmonix EL34 tubes, a pair of Electro-Harmonix 12AU7EH tubes, and two RCA 17AX4 GTV tubes. Their Nirvana 4 also features a pair of EL34 tubes, which are known for deep and tight bass, sweet mids, and extended detailed highs. Additionally, their Nirvana 4 has a ECC82 drive tube that's known for being a low noise tube. When it came to the circuit design of the Dragon Inspire, Dennis Had knew that simplicity was key. The signal comes into the RCA, travels to the input transformer to clean up the signal, then goes to the volume, travels through each tube and the output transformer, and finally exits through the headphone jack. The result is a clean, short signal path. While it has the lowest power output of 1.5 watts, and that's only 0.1 watt lower than that of the Cayenne HA6A, the Dragon Inspire is going to be the most flexible amp in terms of the wide range of headphones that you can pair with it. Thanks to the purist approach of the circuit design, you can greatly change the tonality of this amp with the change of a 6SN7 tube. Make sure to see the Dragon Inspire webpage to read more on swapping tubes. Their Nirvana 4 and Inspire can double as a preamp for your amplifier and speakers, but the Cayenne HA6A is the only one in the lineup that's a truly dedicated headphone amplifier. Their Nirvana 4 is the most powerful amp with an output of 6.5 watts, and it's the only one in the lineup that can easily drive the notoriously powerful Hi-Fi Mansusfara headphones. It's going to produce a lot more punch and authority to the sound than the Dragon Inspire IHA1 and Cayenne HA6A. So if you're someone like me who enjoys hip-hop and EDM, then the Nirvana 4 is going to deliver you that great bass and attack. However, the HA6A does have the most connection options with a very special 4.4mm balanced output that's less powerful than the 4-pin XLR output. So what makes it so special? The HA6A is the only amp in this lineup that can effectively drive IEMs, and that's all thanks to the low power of the 4.4mm output. When you pair a highly sensitive IEM with a tube amp, more often than not, you'll get background hiss. And that's not to say you can't use IEMs with tube amps, because you can, but in the case of the HA6A, they're counteracting that background hiss by reducing the power. If you want to hear about which IEMs we'd recommend for the HA6A, drop a comment below. The HA6A and Nirvana 4 both have impedance switches with multiple gain modes. The HA6A has 3 power modes: low for headphones with an impedance between 8 and 64 ohm, medium for 65 to 250 ohm impedance headphones, and high for 251 to 600 ohm impedance headphones. The Nirvana 4 takes it up a notch with 5 gain modes that drive headphones from 32 ohm to 300 and 600 ohm. An impedance switch wasn't needed for the Dragon Inspire, and it's pretty versatile and works well with all impedances, even driving those pesky planar magnetic headphones. The Dragon Inspire has a unique option compared to the other amplifiers. Not only is it a transformer coupled output, but it also utilizes high-end Lundahl input transformers that strip off any incoming noise from your sources. It also boosts the gain and adds some detail and resolution to the incoming signal. Each tube amplifier has its own collection of features and technology. If you've got a wide range range of headphones that you like to cycle through, then look no further than the Dragon Inspire IHA1 to drive them all. Or maybe the low power of the 4.4mm balanced output on the Cayenne HA6A is perfect for your favorite pair of IEMs. With 5 gain modes, the Aurus Nirvana 4 is versatile and powerful enough to handle anything you throw at it. Whatever the case may be, you can't go wrong with any of these tube amplifiers. They've all got a great sound and a plethora of inputs and outputs, making it easy to integrate any one of them into your existing audio setup. Let's talk cables, because your new tube amplifier setup will need some. At Moon Audio, our Dragon audio cables are handcrafted daily in our Cary, NC headquarters with the highest standards and made to order according to your specific needs. We'll create a custom cable for you using only the highest quality UPOCC silver or copper conductors that can be manufactured. When you're spending upward of $3,000 on a new piece of gear, I imagine the last thing on your mind is all the accessories you've got to buy to go with it. Well, sometimes manufacturers have the same thought process, and they don't prioritize the craftsmanship of the audio cables they include. Stock cables are, well, stock cables, and having a high quality cable makes a difference when you want the best possible performance from your gear. I mean, have you ever seen Ferrari wheels on a Toyota? Probably not. Well, if you're buying the Ferrari of tube amps, we want you to have those matching wheels. So, for these 3 tube amplifiers, our Silver Dragon interconnect cable is going to be the perfect link between your devices. This is how we connected our source device, the Arunder A200, to all 3 amps. The Silver Dragon interconnect is built for zero interference with a braided geometry and high quality shielding, so there's nothing between you and your music. The UPOCC pure silver conductors add detail and resolution, unveiling the music, allowing you to enjoy it with breathtaking clarity. The shielding will also add more durability to the cable for runs on a floor. Our Silver Dragon interconnect cable is timeless. It was the first ever Dragon audio cable produced, and since then, it's been a foundational piece in so many audio setups. Since I'm a Warman musical listener, I opted to pair the Meze Empyrean 2 headphones with our Black Dragon premium cable. Each of our Dragon audio cables has its own sound signature, and the Black Dragon adds bottom end weight to your headphones with great musicality. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, then the Black Dragon is a great choice. But it's all up to preference, so you can't go wrong with any of our Dragon audio cables. If you want more detail, then opt for the Silver Dragon Premium. Or if you want the most neutral sound without any coloration, give our Blue Dragon Premium cable a try. Our premium headphone cable line offers the same quality construction as our standard Dragon audio cables, but with extras like premium Mundor solder and premium rhodium plated Furatech connectors that look and feel great while you listen. I used a Dragon Premium cable with a 4-pin balanced XLR connector, but you can customize the cable length and connector options to fit your setup, like what we've got featured right here. We're flexible, and we love to offer our customers the ability to customize their cables. So if you're not sure what connector you need or which Dragon sound signature suits you best, we're always happy to help. When it comes to tube amplifiers, it's hard to beat the Aurus Nirvana 4, Dragon Inspire IHA1, and Cayenne HA6A. Aurus has made a name for itself in the amplifier market, and the Nirvana 4 is a great example of that. You get a robust, dynamic, and expressive sound from an incredibly powerful amplifier that's great for the most power-hungry headphones. If you're looking for the most natural reproduction of your music, then look no further than the Cayenne HA6A. You get that signature tube amp warmth and a pleasantly smooth sound. It's full of features like 2 operation modes, allowing you to alter the sound signature, and it's the only tube amp in this lineup that's specifically built for your highly sensitive IEMs. And you just can't go wrong with Moon Audio's very own Dragon Inspire IHA1. It'll complement every headphone in your collection and has the perfect amount of warmth, and its compact size is pretty ideal for a desktop audio setup. It's Moon Audio's best-selling headphone amplifier for a reason. Whether you like jazz, pop, country, rock and roll, or R&B, you won't be disappointed with any song that you listen to on these tube amps. You'll get a rich, harmonious sound from the Dragon Inspire, and the Nirvana 4 will handle those high energy genres like EDM and metal. The Cayenne HA6A is built for vocals, and it stands out as a great option for the versatile listener. If you're in the market for a new tube amp, check out one of these units. As always, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any recent uploads. Drop a comment below if you enjoyed this video and let us know what hi-fi gear you want us to review next. Thanks so much for watching.